All right. We are back here at Song of the Day, coming to you from the Rock Cave. I'm your host, Mark Pierce. As usual, it is Saturday. It's good to be in the weekend, right? Like I said earlier, it was a big week this week. Lots of anniversaries, a few birthdays, lots of choices this week for Song of the Day. We're mixing things up as far as dates are concerned. Today is a birthday. We got David Gilmour's birthday today. I think there was an anniversary of the release of his first solo album, About Face, a few days ago. And we had a bunch of other choices as far as topics for this week, but I hope you enjoyed this week. We did have some good ones this week, right? Anyone here take that Double Dog Dare challenge and listen to the entirety of Master of Puppets? I know a couple of you messaged me and said you were doing just that, and I know that Frank out there commented already, but I know a few of you were going to take that challenge on, so let's make sure that I hear from you about that. Others of you, your challenge was to watch This Is Spinal Tap, either again because you haven't seen it in a long time, or really also for someone who has never seen it before, you know who you are. I think that's exactly what you should be doing this weekend, so I want to hear from you about that. So what are we talking about today? We haven't done a birthday in a while. So we're going to do that. This week, none other than Roger Daltrey turned 77 years old. If you recall, in September, Season 1, Episode 153 of the Song of the Day Chronicles, we covered Under a Raging Moon, one of his solo albums, one of my favorite records. That one's a good one. If you haven't checked that out, check it out, the record and the episode. And I've put that episode guide on my Facebook page for those of you who are interested, and if you're interested in it, I can always message you as well. You all remember episode 153, right? So anyway, Roger Daltrey, lead singer of The Who, right? The Who, let's talk about The Who for a minute. Is it fair to say that either you like The Who or you don't like The Who? I don't know. Like, I feel like I know people who just don't care for The Who. Or maybe there are middle of the road people out there, but I feel like it's either you're in or you're out. I myself have a complicated relationship with The Who, kind of ebb and flow through the years. Again, moved to Connecticut in 1983. I was not a classic rock listener until that time because I had MTV and was listening to all the stuff they were shelling out, which was more new wave stuff for the most part. But then I got introduced to the Rock Block Weekend, WAQY, and so that's when I started hearing The Who. But when they played, 3 songs from The Who, or just basically classic rock in general, you probably only heard a mixture of maybe 8 Who songs, maybe 10, maybe 8, something like that, the same ones. So while I didn't mind them in the background, I wouldn't say that I would seek out The Who. I do remember the first time I heard Baba O'Reilly on a record at a party in Rhode Island, and that one I really liked a lot. And then over the years, I became a fan, really, just slowly. It would just be, I'd hear a song and then I'd go check into it again and be like, oh yeah, I do like this, or oh, that's the one I do like. So I am a fan of The Who, and we'll talk about some of the songs I like, but if some of you only have heard the ones that you hear on the radio, the same 6 or 8 songs, then maybe you should check out some of these other ones we're going to talk about. But we're talking about Roger Daltrey for a minute. Born in London, he was joined a band when he was in his early teens. Was told he had to show up with a guitar, so he made one out of wood apparently, and then his father gave him one, and he became a lead singer really around the age of 15. And that involved a band with Pete Townsend, who this band would later become The Who, in '65. They had their first single in '65, I Can't Explain. How about that for a good first single? And they're followed up with Any Way, Anyhow, Anywhere, which was co-written by Roger Daltrey and Pete Townsend. Roger Daltrey did not write very many Who songs, maybe less than a half dozen. And certainly his claim to fame was the epitome of a lead singer swinging his microphone, that yell at the end of Won't Get Fooled Again, and Pete Townsend, just the master as far as writing is concerned. And everyone knows the story about The Who and how they just really had a great career. And then in the 80s, you know, ebbed and flowed in the 80s for sure. Reunion tour after reunion tour. Roger Daltrey was nominated for a Golden Globe for his part in the movie version of Tommy. I did not know that. I learned that. I also learned in reading about him that when he was 50, someone approached him and said that she was his daughter. And in the end, in his 50s, he had a total of 3 women come to him to say that they were his daughters. And in fact, he had 8 children, not 5 that he thought he had. His second wife, Heather, very good about that. They are a family unit in such a way that can be as adults. But his second wife, Heather, was the subject of Jimi Hendrix's Foxy Lady. That's a nice little tidbit for you. All right, so let's talk about The Who. Again, some of you just like, on The Who. It's okay, it's all right, but let's talk about these. I mean, there's a difference in the songs here. I mean, there are different style songs to choose from, but won't get fooled again, of course. I Can't Explain, awesome. Bob O'Reilly, I mean, these are all classics. Bob O'Reilly, Pinball Wizard, I Can See for Miles, Magic Bus. You gotta have the version of Magic Bus where he says, I want it, you can't have it. There's a couple of different versions out there. Love Reign Over Me, that's up there for a favorite of mine. Behind Blue Eyes, We're Not Gonna Take It. How about Boris the Spider? You guys know Boris the Spider? If you don't, check that one out. Pictures of Lily, that one's funny. The Seeker, one of my top favorite Who songs. Slip Kid, Going Mobile, also a favorite. My Generation, of course. Squeezebox, that's up there in the top 5 for me. If you haven't listened to Squeezebox lately, you got to hear that one. That one's just fun. And basically, what else? We got Another Tricky Day. Love that one. If you don't know Another Tricky Day, you're listening to that one today. What are we doing for Song of the Day, though? So I could pick one of the classics and just like throw that at you and just, you could be done with it, but I'm not. It turns out that a little bit later on, maybe 15 years ago or 20 years ago, I became obsessed with this song, which is Let's See Action. Love this song by The Who, and if you don't know this one, check it out. Like I said, this is one of like 3 non-album singles they ended up releasing, and this was 1971. It did go to 16 in the UK, but it came off of the unfinished rock opera called Lifehouse, which has, for Who fans, is just goes on, and basically the story is after Tommy, Pete Townsend was writing a science fiction rock opera that never got finished called Lifehouse, and they did release some of the songs from those sessions either as singles or on other albums, or Pete Townsend in his solo work. But this song was also performed at Royal Albert Hall in 2000 with Roger Daltrey and guest vocalist Eddie Vedder. So apparently I'm not the only fan of Let's See Action. So that's going to be your song of the day, Let's See Action. But again, for me, it's tough to pick a favorite Who song because Squeezebox and The Seeker, I mean, they're all up there for me, and I do enjoy the music. I may not be the one to play The Who's greatest hits, but I'm also not likely to play the Rolling Stones' greatest hits just out of nowhere. So if you are a Who fan, tell me your favorite Who songs or your Who memories, and if you're not, I get it, that's cool, but maybe you should check out some of these songs that I mentioned that maybe you aren't familiar with. And we're at 9 minutes. Wow, that's long for a Saturday. All right, we're gonna wrap it up. All right, enjoy your Saturday. Roger Daltrey, happy birthday. Hit me up. Check out season 1, episode 153. Loved that solo album. Have a great Saturday. Tomorrow is Slow Down Sunday. We're gonna slow it down for you here in the cave fireside if I can get that thing lit. And we'll talk to you later. Have a good one, and as usual, I'll catch you on the flip side.